Hello, I'm Jill Barth. I'm the HR Tech Editor for HR Executive Magazine, and we are here at the HR Tech Conference in Las Vegas 2023 on the expo floor. We have our own studio here, and we have a wonderful guest who's agreed to spend a few minutes with us here. This is Nickle LaMoreaux. She's from IBM. She's a people leader there, and she's going to share her thoughts with us. Will you tell us a little bit about your role and what brought you here today?
Sure. So I'm the Chief Human Resource Officer at IBM. 270,000 IBMers in 172 countries I have the pleasure of creating the right employee experience for. I've been with IBM for 25 years, and I've been the CHRO for 3.
So exciting. What do you think, you've got, you said 270,000, that's around the world. Do you think there's one common aspect to the employee experience that's universal, regardless of where people are or what job they do?
I think about the employee experience being the combination of two things. The first thing is the purpose, the type of work, the values of a company. That's really important. But some people often forget there's a second piece to the employee experience. All of that alone isn't enough. What does it feel like to work there every day, every hour? And so that piece of the employee experience is also relatively universal. Well, the first piece might differ between you and me based on what we value, what we like to work on. On this point about employee experience in the processes in how you work every day, it's pretty universal. Employees want things that are fast, easy, mobile enabled, one click. They talk about consumer grade experiences, and they want that in what they experience in the workplace.
You know what's interesting about that is we're all talking about AI like it's something new, but what's new about it, I think, is that it became consumer grade. So now people are touching it on their own computer, and now they want to know everything about it, and they want it now.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Totally agree. So, AI, if you go back to the very beginning, it's been around for decades, right? But to your point, the reason why we all know about it, the reason why we're experimenting with it, maybe in our personal lives, in our professional lives, is because it's now become so easy to use. And I think that this is a big differentiator. It's no longer that you have to be deep in how the technology works. You don't know how to have to code or write an AI algorithm. Those are going to become ubiquitous and universal in all the right ways. What will be important, though, is how we as HR professionals interact with those platforms. How do we decide when to turn the AI on, when to turn it off, where in the process to use it, where in the process not to use it? And that's going to be the piece that I really think unlocks AI.
I read some really exciting news earlier this fall that there's been a commitment to training in AI. Are you excited about that?
Oh my goodness, so excited for many reasons. Okay, so a little selfishly, it's going to create a great pool of IBMers that are going to come into the workforce. But more importantly, as we think about the AI revolution that's going on out there, we need to have people that know how to work with this technology. I think another big misconception about AI is this idea that it replaces humans, that it replaces labor. And I think what we have to remember, if I could go back in time and rename AI, I would call it augmented intelligence, not artificial intelligence. But you've got to have a talent pool that knows how to work with it. And so what I'm really excited about this investment is that proactively, we know that these skills are going to be needed in every job. And so this is a proactive way to make sure that people have access to AI skills as they enter the workforce.
And building a workforce for IBM and for others.
Totally.
Many people here are thinking, how do I get this, how do I bring this back? I'm an HR leader, how do I bring this back to my team? Who's going to do this? It's promising to think that it's coming. It's coming.
Absolutely. And it's, going to serve a lot of the communities that we operate in.
One of the other things that I read on the IBM website that I thought was really interesting was a study about the misconceptions about STEM careers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was wondering if that also had something to do with the fact that maybe people think that's not for me, it's too hard. You even mentioned I'm gonna have to code, I can't, but.
Absolutely. So again, when we think about STEM careers, we do think, and this is really important, we've been on a skills first talent strategy for a long time. And we say that it's kind of skills, not necessarily degrees.
Yep.
Because so many people think if I want a career in STEM, if I want a career in technology, there's a certain degree, or maybe even from a certain college or university, I have to have before I can do that. Right now at IBM, more than 50% of our jobs don't require a college degree. And the way I think about it as an HR professional is, if you need to know Python, why does it matter to me if you learned it getting a degree, if you taught yourself, if you went to a coding boot camp, if you took a class at a community college, as long as you have that skill. And we're finding that there is a lot of untapped talent when you think about STEM and STEM skills a lot more broadly.
Are you also finding that within your own population, that people have skills you didn't know about?
Absolutely. And so it's giving people the ability to cross careers, including in HR. There's some people that I didn't realize had some of these technical skills because they were doing totally different jobs. And so it's really giving a lot more, not only input into the workforce, but a lot more career mobility once you're in it.
Do you think that as a leader in the HR field, you're seeing any shifts for the functionality of the job overall now? You know, we've got a lot of people at multiple stages in their career here.
Yeah.
You see anything that stands out?
So I do think there's a couple things that are going to be really important to future HR careers. So one is domain expertise. I know a lot of people say, with AI, aren't chatbots going to be able to answer all the HR policy questions? But if you think about what we just talked about, AI is going to be a platform. It's going to be something that everybody can tap into. But you, as a domain expert, need to know how to use it. You have to know where in the process you want to apply it, where in the process you don't. So HR expertise and domain expertise in at least one pillar of HR are going to become more and more important. The second thing I would say is that you do not need to know how to work with technology. And so I think that's a really important piece. Third is business acumen. Again, that is going to be enduring. Probably HR executives sitting in the seat 10 years ago were saying it, and 10 and 20 years from now. But particularly with the advent of all of this technology, knowing where to apply it, where not, is it going to have a good business value is really important. And then I think the last piece that I would say is this idea of continuous learning. And maybe it's overused, but technology is moving so fast. Business models are changing so fast. The labor force, the talent supply chain is changing so fast. You've got to be somebody that can pick up signals and constantly change, particularly in HR.
Yeah, that's kind of like the growth mindset that we've heard.
Absolutely.
We've heard that referenced from a few of the speakers here.
Yes.
It's like, be ready for change and see it as an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for this time. This was wonderful.
Wonderful
Great
to be
meet you.
here.